Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my coming partner, Anthony. It's a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, I know how I'm doing today. How are you doing today?
It was fun. Today was a fun day. We both just came back from our dojo's, Hollywood Judo's 90th anniversary party. To keep it short, there was a lot of events. And I did the kata. Yeah.
Keep it short. Let's talk about everything we did today, man. So
you go ahead.
So, all right, I'll talk about everything then. All right. So as we're saying, our dojo just celebrated. It's technically, I believe it's in fall. I think it's like September, October, November. There's about, I think, but that is our true anniversary. But we're celebrating 90th anniversary at Hollywood Judo, and that's something with. God, that is just a crazy thing within itself. Thinking about it, like 90 years, Hollywood Judo has been open. Like, how many dojos can say they've been open 10 years, 20 years? We've been open for 90 years.
Yeah.
We have to be one of the oldest dojos in Southern California, if not in the U.S. Totally.
I'm pretty sure we're not that far behind, because I know Seattle Budokan's the oldest for sure. Seattle's the oldest, and I know Sawtell is one of the oldest too. Like there's second or third or something like that.
That would have to make us fourth or third then.
Yeah, because we're a sister's dojo and we were founded like a few years after them. So yeah, we are top 5 definitely. So
top 5 oldest dojos, and we're part of it. So they're talking about like what we did for events today. So I was in charge of getting bento boxes. So I had to get 110 bento boxes from the restaurant that I ordered them from to the dojo, because the restaurant didn't do delivery. That was one of the things that they're like, oh, we don't do delivery. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, totally. I was like, I could fit 100 bento boxes, not thinking about 110 miso soups, 110 rices, 110 tempura sauces to go with it. So I was like, nope, doesn't take 2 trips. So in the morning, I went, picked up half of it, drove to the dojo, dropped it off, went back to the restaurant, picked it up again. And when I was leaving, they're like, yeah, this is our second largest order we've ever done. I was like, your second? What was your first largest? I was like, oh, we did an order one time for about 160. And I was like, oh, you're lucky, because it almost became 160 until I drew the line.
We couldn't fit 160 people. And we did, we had a cutoff date on when the last day is you can order the bento boxes. Yeah,
it was May 1st was the cutoff date.
Afterwards, at least 10 or 20 people asked me. So like, I really want to buy some more tickets. And I'm like, no, it's too late. Like,
you had time to buy it. Because even when we set the place up the day before, we noticed that we barely scraped by getting 110 seats in the place.
We didn't have enough tables.
Yeah. So we barely scraped by with that. And then we still, like always, some people didn't show up. I can name no name, Scotty, but I'm just going to say that. I don't know. Do they listen to our podcast? Let's put them on blast.
I was just talking to him actually, because he couldn't come because he got sick. It wasn't COVID, so
that's what I'll say.
He got sick, so he didn't want to spread it. So I appreciate him not like coming spreading wherever he has. So
yeah, but it was pretty cool. We had taiko drummers come to our dojo, come to the hall and perform and stuff. And I'll put some photos up on the Hollywood Judo Facebook and Instagram if you want to look at it. I might put some photos of me and Anthony also on our personal Instagram. But he had a great taiko performance. Then we had some of our youth members do a great performance of doing some judo. We had Anthony and one of our other members, Pamela, do Nagi no kata performance. It wasn't the full kata, it was about half. It was like they did all the throws, just one side. You want to take the entire time doing all of it. We had that. And then we had some music performance by one of our instructors, Eric, his daughter. She performed sukiyaki, and she on the piano, and she also performed it was a song from
Levi's Decision, I think it was.
Is that what it was?
Levi's Choice from Attack on Titan. Yeah.
It was Attack on Titan. I knew it was an Attack on Titan song. I just don't remember which one it was. So we had that. And then our senior member, our Sensei Gary, we had his granddaughter perform a violin also for us. She did. Do you know what the name of the song that she performed?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
God, Anthony, come on. So we had that. And then we also gave Sensei Gary, for being part of Hollywood Judo for so many years, a Lifetime Achievement Award, just to show our thanks and appreciation for him. So it was a really fun day. We had music, bento boxes. We tried singing sukiyaki at the end, but It's such a rare song, I guess people nowadays don't even know it, and especially don't know the Japanese version.
Well, they told me the guys at the back couldn't see the projector screen with the lyrics either. So
come on, wait, you don't know the words of Sukiyaki? Come on, come on. And for me, I know the English version and a little bit of Spanish version too. But it's one of those songs where it's like in every language. I bet you look for one in Mandarin, Cantonese, you probably find one too also.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the hits from like the 90s or like even some 80s songs, they're like from Japan or Taiwan or China, and they like took the song and covered it and stuff like that. So it's actually a really common thing.
It's actually here's a funny story to me. I never knew Sukiyaki was named Sukiyaki. I didn't learn Sukiyaki was named Sukiyaki until I think it was in college, maybe. And I heard it, the Japanese, like the real Japanese version. And I'm listening. I'm like, hey, this is a Spanish song because I knew the English version, but I thought the Spanish version was older, and I can't remember who sang the Spanish version. I know Selena did a cover, I think, also. So a lot of Chicanos might know that one. But there was another older Spanish one, like from the 70s or 80s. I don't know what it was. But I always thought it was like the Spanish song that it was covered. It was like Juan, Sukiyaki, a Spanish song. I was like, I didn't know the name of the damn song was. All right, it's here on the radio. I don't know the name.
A lot of people don't know that it's like a tradition for Sensei Gary, our chairman, and his wife to sing that song at every holiday party that we had. So we just decided to do that again for his, I guess, the 90th anniversary. Yeah.
90th anniversary dojo. So it was fun. It was a great time. In 10 years, we'll do the 100th anniversary party. Hopefully me and Anthony are still there.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
That one, I'm thinking, let's go get a venue. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to get a venue. I will pay for wait staff. I will pay for catering and all that. All right. I'm getting a venue next time.
100th anniversary. Would that be, it'll be after the Olympics.
The year of the Olympics?
That'll be 2032. So it'll be 4 years after the LA Olympics.
Okay. Yeah. We have time. Don't worry about it. It's 10 years away. God, man, just think about that.
No, I was just thinking it'll be nice if it like aligned with the LA Olympics, but
we're not gonna have a holiday party at the Olympics, okay? At the judo stadium, which I've read, a little sidetrack there. I've read that we're gonna have the judo competition is going to take place, I believe, at UCLA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what last thing I heard. That I was reading about the venues and stuff, and I couldn't find the venue, and when I did find it, I didn't recognize it. So I looked up and I believe it was in UCLA, either at UCLA or a venue near UCLA. That's where it's going to be at.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Not USC. It's going to be at UCLA. So all the way in Brentwood, all that area.
Yeah.
There. If you're going to come, let us know. And if you're in the area at the Olympics in
6 years. Yeah.
6 years from now.
Yeah.
Come to Hollywood Judo. Come train with us.
6, yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I was so we had a slideshow of all the old photos and stuff we had, and I just thought it was really interesting. One of the videos you included was our dojo was featured in a Swedish documentary when a team, I think it was a Special Olympic team, was here to practice with us. So it was interesting. Like I didn't know that happened, and going through these old clips was very cool.
Yeah. And Anthony, I sent him a lot of clips and he's like, oh, there's a lot of you in there. It's a lot of me because I'm there. That's why.
So I was there 80 years ago.
I was there all the time. You see that black and white? That's one right there. Juan travel through time. There I am right there again. Flying in the air. Woo! So that's what we did today. And that was kind of fun. So let's get to some judo news. So Anthony sent me an article that the British Judo Federation is now putting out a new mandate, new rule that
they're following the IJF rules, by the way. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
This is an IJF rule?
Yeah, it's for it's IJF rules, and the British Judo Federation is just saying they're going to apply these rules now.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the British Judo Federation doing it. Okay.
Yeah, so it says, following the release of the March 2022 Sport and Organization Rules document, the IJF have updated the rules for veteran competitors. So, yeah. Okay.
So this is all IJF members. So here in the US, it would be USA Judo then would be having hopefully to follow it, or would they follow it? It's such a weird thing. Well, let me get that. Let's just talk about this. Okay. So for judo members go into a tournament at 60 plus. You're 60 years old and higher, which there aren't a lot, but there are some at 60 that still compete. They are no longer allowing chokes of any kind in tournaments.
To clarify, in 60 plus divisions, because we wouldn't have that problem or know about the luxury of it's kind of like a first world problem kind of thing. Because in America, judo is so small that we don't have 60 plus divisions.
One of our members actually went to go compete by the time this video comes out. It would have been yesterday for us. So it would have been almost a week ago now. He competes in a 60 plus division, and it was just one other guy in his division. And the guy saw him and was like, oh, that guy beat me up last time. I'm going to sit this one out.
Hey, you're just conjecturing now. So
I'm just conjecturing. He went, there was no one, I'm putting quotation marks up for our podcast, no one in his division to go up against him. So he ended up going in the senior division instead.
Yeah. I always see it happen. He always goes and fights like one match or best of three, or nobody shows up. And he ends up fighting seniors, like 20 something year olds, 30-year-olds. And he always beats at least one or two of them before like the other ones just muscle or gas him out or something. And this is after he's been fighting in the Masters too.
Yeah. And he took third place. Yeah. So that just shows how good he is.
Yeah. I love Brian. Brian's judo is amazing. I love training with him. Mm-hmm. Watching him fight people is really, really cool.
Yeah. But back to the thing at hand. So what do you think about this, that they're going to stop that? If you get caught choking somebody in a tournament at 60 plus, and this is a 60 plus divisions in the Masters or veterans, where they call them where you're from. Yep. If you get caught choking somebody, it is also immediately hansakumake.
Yeah.
So is that hansakumake from the match or hansakumake from the tournament?
It just as hansakumake. I assume it's from the match. It's kind of insane. I think it's extreme to ban someone from the whole tournament for that. We'll have to check the IJF rules document. Which I haven't done yet, but it's just, again, I don't think it's going to happen in America because we just have like 30 to 40 to 40 plus, like 50 plus. We don't have like every 10 or 5 years, like in most countries.
Like other countries will have, other countries will have like every 5 years. Us, we have about every 10. If it's a really big tournament, like was it USA Nationals? I think they have every 5 there. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like that's the only tournament that I know in the US besides the big ones.
Yeah. So
of all the big ones, actually,
going back to like other bans that have happened. Mm-hmm. On one hand, the IJF does not just ban stuff because like the UFC, it's not like the UFC where they're like, oh my God, 12 to 6 elbows are banned because I saw a guy break a watermelon like that. It could be someone's head. Like, no, that's not how they ban stuff. They actually look at data. They have data of stuff happening, right? Mm-hmm. So the story I heard from a guy on Reddit that I read was that someone who was 60 plus was teaching in a class and demonstrating shimewaza, strangulation technique, and being used as the uke. And during the choke, I think the choke loosened up some plaque or something in his blood vessel, and it caused a stroke. So,
so let there be a lesson to all of you. Loosen up some plaque. Just get someone to choke you every now and then at practice. Squeeze it.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the IJF Medical Commission usually bans stuff based off of data that they have. Mm-hmm. Just like reverse seoinage, they're like a lot of people are getting hurt in juniors or whatever. Yeah. The Kani Basami, a lot of people are getting hurt, banned. Blah blah blah. So all of them is based off of data, but the problem I have is they never release the data or give a straight answer on like why they're banning this stuff. Like leg grabs, they never gave us a straight answer, right? It's always like, Neil Adams said this, like it was because it was too close to wrestling, or it was because the Japanese were getting dominated, or it was because they were stalling. Like we never got a straight answer about which one of these is true or whether it's a mix of all three. Mm-hmm. Same thing with reverse seoinage. Only answer we got was it's dangerous. Didn't say why it was dangerous. To what, like, was the head? Was it, like I said, the shoulder lock or the wrist lock? Or a mix of the three? Didn't say that. So in this case, same thing. They didn't say why. It just says like the medical commission advised and we approved it. So,
well, to me, I can see it because when you're a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, even 40-year-old, and you're being choked, and you know how sometimes you're like, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm asleep, I'm waking up. Oh my God, where's everyone around me for? You know, it shit happens. You know, I can get it. You know, you'd be like, I'm good, or just you're blocking a choke, or you do get choked out. Now, imagine that at a tournament. Now, this is gonna be kind of funny because one of our guys actually yesterday got choked out somehow through an armbar. He was getting armbarred, and the leg was coming across his throat so hard. He said that he passed out. Was getting armbarred, came back in the armbar, and then passed out again from the leg choking him, that pressing down so hard on him that he passed out. And then he woke up again with everyone surrounding him and his arm messed up. So, but as a 60-year-old, I can see it because it could be dangerous for a 6-year-old to be passing out. As a 20-year-old, like 34 years, it's all right. You know, I wake up, you know, put their legs up, get the blood to their head to be fine. But as a 6-year-old or older, like say you're these crazy guys, because there's these, like I always bring this up at Winter Nationals, there's these two older gentlemen that are in their like 70s or 80s every year. They're like the only two in their bracket and fight every year. Now, one of them get a choke. And you know, when you're getting choked, sometimes you're face down, your body's still going to spasm like it's fighting. And you're going to think, oh, they're fighting still.
Yeah, really, a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, you know, like that it just happens sometimes. You're getting choked out, but your body's still fighting, but your brain shut off, and all that time it can cause brain damage. Like no matter what, it can cause brain damage. Now imagine that to a person that's 60 plus. Now you're saying, oh, 60, I'll be fine. I'm talking about the 65, 70s. If you're a crazy 80-year-old man or woman.
Yeah, it's like where do you draw the line, right? Because I mean, we all know some crazy ass old judo guys. you know, like the story I said was like, there's a guy I trained with that had open heart surgery and was like, I'll be happy if I die on the mats, you know, like please don't die on our mats. Like,
please don't haunt my dojo. All right. Do not make me have to do a seance at the dojo.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, so it's just something to protect older players. But it does say in the article also that if you are 60 plus and get moved to 50s or 40s division or something, or 20s, if it's crazy, like a small tournament here in the US, maybe, it is up to you, and you are acknowledging and taking the chance that you might get choked out during the match, and you're taking that upon yourself. But if you're going to fight in the 60 plus divisions, you are safe there. Plus, it's like how many, like, I hate to bring this up, but how many, like I see them out there. Yeah. I see a few handful of them, but how many of them are there actually out there still practicing? I not practicing, but competing, I mean.
There's actually a significant amount. And really? Especially in Japan, like they have the what do you call it? The Kodokan High Dan Rank tournament, the All Japan High Dan Rank tournament. So High Dan Rank assumes like also they don't say it's not by age group, it's by like high this Dan and above, right? This degree black belt and above, and most of them are older. And I've seen people like walk on with a cane onto the mat and then like get up and start fighting and walk back off with their cane. Like it's just insane. Like, again, those are the people they're trying to protect. Right. But at the same time, let's going back to the topic of the choke. Like, how often do chokes happen? Right. Like, well, we talk about this a lot, and BJJ people complain a lot about judo, saying like, hey, why did they just choke there? Like, it's like, okay, because it would have been better to pin them there. Because if you choke them and it goes on the chin, it's mate, and you stand up and you lose position, right? Yeah. And sometimes it's just easier to go to the pin. We see a lot more pins happen on IJF circuit than chokes, given that I don't really watch veterans very often. So maybe chokes happen more often than veterans. I don't know.
They're slow. Oh, that's what it is. They get thrown. They're slower to defend. They're like coming across, and it's taking forever. So the other person are slightly faster can get the choke, and they can't defend.
This is why it's important for, I think, the IJF to release the statistics on it, like how many chokes are happening, how many accidents happen, like all that kind of stuff. And but at the same time, like, yes, why the hell are you banning it? Because I don't think it's likely that it happens, but they probably also don't want something bad to happen before they do something about it. Because it makes
we're just thinking also about what we've heard in the US and stuff. Maybe something really bad happened in Europe or maybe Asia, Southeast Asia. I don't know, South Africa or South America or South Africa in Africa or something, or South America. Maybe something did happen in South Africa. I don't know, but you don't know what something might happen somewhere else where judo is bigger. Maybe they've been seeing a lot of older people getting passed out, choke, mental damage, brain damage or something,
I mean, I already see people online exaggerating some of this stuff.
Oh my God, it's for 60 plus.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's like, oh, here's IGF ruining judo again. Like, I'm going to go train BJJ now. Like,
for 60 plus.
Like, are you 60 plus? Like, are you still competing? Like, I mean, sure. Even then, it's like you can still go compete in 50 plus then, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was over exaggeration. A lot of people are over exaggerating, and
because I can't choke out somebody.
I get it. The IGF deserves some criticism for consistently fucking around with the rules, but yeah, like over exaggeration. Just like reverse Seo and Ben, I don't really have an opinion on this because again, it doesn't affect me because
I got a dog in this fight.
Most of you guys are not going to compete in IJF tournaments, and it's not like they're banning it for seniors. So it's not like, oh no, Shohei Ono can't do Shimewaza anymore. Like,
oh, you read that new judo thing? 60 plus can't choke. They're ruining judo. How does that even work? Oh man. My 20-year-old guy right here can't do chokes now. Did you even read the article? Did you read the rule? Are you 60, son? Are you? Shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was silly, but whatever. No opinion on it. That's just me.
It's a little interesting thing. I don't think it's a big deal. It's next thing you're going to be like, oh, so you're not going to be able to teach chokes. It's like, no, you still teach chokes. It's just the big thing is a competition. If you do a choke, in the senior masters division, what's that, masters 50M or something? I don't know. It's like, you just can't choke somebody out there. At practice, choke all you want. All right. But at tournament, you can't. So that's a little interesting article. People out there, again, going to divide people up again, like Anthony was saying. So we're screw some and go do BJJ. So speaking about BJJ, Anthony has gotten really into this new thing called defensive.
Really? Please don't over exaggerate. Really into, right?
You talk about it all the time. What are you embarrassed about now?
I'm not embarrassed, but I'm not super into it. Maybe to most people, I'm super into it because I actually I kind of hyper focus on something when I'm interested in it, right? And then I do a lot of research on it because I want to understand as much as I can about it.
Should we tell the audience what we're talking about?
Yes, please go ahead.
So Anthony's got into this new thing called Defensive BJJ. A friend of our show, my buddy Raul, my catch wrestling coach, actually did a short little video on it on his podcast also.
After I talked about it, by the way. I did it first. So I gotta say.
Anthony talked a little bit about it, but I want Anthony to talk a little bit more, get more in depth about it. But it's when Raul talked about it, it was more about how what's the MMA guy?
Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall was talking about how using defensive BJJ in MMA to protect yourself and having it be better at your back. Because some people are just, you give up your back, you're done. He's talking about like giving up your back in a defensive style to also know how to defend from right there. Because it's easier you'll last longer on your back than having someone on your top mount or side control or something. He was talking about, guys, it was an article. What was it?
Yeah.
It was a couple weeks ago.
So
Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not a new thing. It's been around for a while. And I've actually been following BJJ Globetrotters for a long time. Like they make a lot. It's for those who aren't familiar, BJJ Globetrotters is like, you know how in Muay Thai, a lot of people go to like Phuket and train with holiday training is what I call it. Like they go to like the beach and then they train in Thailand and fight, maybe do 1 or 2 amateur fights there and then like go to the beach and party and come back. So I don't want to say Globetrotters like that, but Globetrotters, they go to like Iceland or they go to like the beach or they go to like the Caribbean and they train BJJ there and there's different people giving seminars and different topics and everything. So I like watching a lot of their stuff. And I heard about BJJ Globetrotters from one of my old coaches in Austin because he's like he moved to Germany now, I think, but he was always one of those guys that travels around. And I personally, I don't know if he listens to his podcast, but I personally think he's what do you call it? I don't want to say genius, but he had a knack for grappling. Mm-hmm. He picks things up super fast and super talented. He got his Shodan in like 4 years and got his brown belt from BJJ Globetrotters. I don't want to get too much into BJJ Globetrotters because that's not, I don't want to talk about how they promote or anything, but he basically just traveled around training a lot and he's really good at grappling. Mm-hmm. And he got his knee on because he randomly went to a tournament on the East Coast because he felt like it. Went to the East Coast and he beat a bunch of people in his own weight class plus the open weight, and the tournament director there or something was like a high Dan rank guy in the local area, so he promoted him to Nidan that way. Oh, nice. Yeah, so but he's super interesting. His name's Kyle. So Kyle told me about BJJ Globetrotters and I got interested about it, and so I started following their YouTube channel. They have a lot of interesting comments, seminars, recordings, all for free. So I keep hitting my mic.
I know you keep hitting your mics and getting me like about my mic. My mic straight.
So I looked up this one thing called Defensive BJJ, Defensive Jiu-Jitsu, from a guy called Preet. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Preet Mikkelsen. He is from Estonia, and the first video that caught my eye was one of the videos was his student competing in, I want to say Belgium, in the Belgian black belt no gi tournament. And this guy was like, it was supposed to be a demonstration of how effective his system is. Mm-hmm. And so it was like to the extreme, because when people see it, it looks ridiculous, but he's like, no, we're not going to, I'm just making him do this to the extreme to show that the system works. Mm-hmm. So he fought like 7 matches in the black belt division and won all 7 and didn't give up a single point. And the whole time the guy was just turtling. I showed you the video.
Yeah, you sent me the video. That's what got us talking about this.
The whole time he was just turtling and then like walking his knees and then like not giving up the underhooks, which is the key point of this whole system, and doing some weird looking stuff that I've never seen before. That just looks stupid when I first saw it to people who don't know about it. And then all of a sudden he leg locks the other guy. Right? Yeah. And you just see how frustrated the face of the people that are trying to attack his turtle get, right? And I was telling other people in the dojo about this and they were laughing, right? Until I showed them the videos, especially the twins that are dojo. Yeah, and they're like, and then you just see their faces change when they start seeing the video. Like
I was laughing when you showed me the video. I was like, oh man, this shit, and it works. God damn it. All right.
Yeah. Long story short, well, I guess it's not a long story short, but to continue my story. After I watched that, I got really curious. I'm like, well, there's no way 7. I mean, I don't know the BJJ circuit. Maybe it's a small local shitty tournament with shitty black belts. I don't know.
Shitty black belts.
But 7 people, and then he's also giving a talk on Defensive BJJ on BJJ Globetrotters. So maybe it's worth it to watch the whole video. And this long ass video was like 2 hours long. So I watched the whole video and it basically boils, I'll link it in the description so other people can watch it. It basically boils down to like, there's a couple of defensive positions that they do. And one of them is the turtle. And then there's the panda. And then
okay. So let's talk about each individual component first. Okay. So the turtle is exactly what you think of like a real turtle up. So I'm in like legs tight, stays underneath me. Okay. Underneath my hips. Your elbows are inside tight into your body, tucked in really, really tight, not outside here, nothing. So you don't want to get the underhooks like you're saying. And they're tight to the body. All right. And your head was also tight because you don't want to give me a choke. So everything's tight when you're in this turtle position. It's a normal turtle where like you grab your collar, you put your hands up. His fists were in tight to his face. I'd say like almost like a boxing stance kind of. I was noticing when I was looking at it.
One of the key things about the turtle is different is, in judo, we go like this, like protect our necks, right? Like,
and as if you look at Anthony right now on the podcast, he's like butterflying his neck right now.
But if you do this, you'll notice your elbow, there's a little gap here. So that gap will give people to start working in the underhook. So he doesn't do this. He tucks it in like this. And he exposes his neck, but he exposes his neck, but he tucks the chin, like I said, which makes it harder. But what stops people from getting the neck is you grab their fingers. Which is why the position looks so stupid, because it looks like you're a dinosaur, a T-Rex. like this. And then as soon as people start working their way through your neck, you feel them at your neck, you just grab the fingers.
Yeah.
Grab the hands,
that's a good question right there. So in BJJ, no gi and gi, you're allowed to grab the fingers. Then?
You can grab it as long as you don't like manipulate.
Is there a rule like how in MMA you must grab three fingers in MMA?
I don't know what the rules are, but he was just grabbing the hands or pushing them away like that. So,
and for our judo people out there, in judo you are not allowed to grab the fingers at all. You're not supposed to.
But the refs can't see it usually. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not allowed to grab fingers. But if you turtled up right here and your fingers are down there, you're gonna get people grabbing your fingers. Okay, that's just a dirty little secret right there of judo. I'm exposing the business here. So that's turtle. All right, so it's really, really tight in turtle on the first, not loose. Knees are tight in like Seiza and stuff. You're down in a really tight turtle position. That's one. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more? Or do you want to move on to the next one?
No, let's move on because I want to finish the whole story too because I didn't finish the whole story yet.
Oh, okay, sorry. So
let's go do a brief overview of the system.
All right. So the second position, what will be a second one?
The panda. The panda is the next position. So it's like you're lying down with like a drunk homeless guy or a drunk guy on the sidewalk with your legs spread out, but slightly bent to kind of form like a tripod.
Okay.
Chin's tucked in down like that. And again, your elbows to your side. And that's just for when someone's like attacking your back, basically.
Yeah. So
I personally, when I tried it out, I'll talk about my experiences trying it out later. But when I tried it out, I didn't get too much experience on this because people, whenever I get in this position, they immediately get their hooks in and roll me to my side. So this is more like a transitional thing for me. I never ever stayed in this position for more than a couple of seconds, even though I see a lot in the videos I saw, they were in that position a lot more often. But yeah, that's basically panda. Same thing, tuck your elbows in. If they go for your neck, just grab the hands, grab the fingers, tuck your shin in. Again, the tripod makes you a little harder to turn. So they have to change, they have to do an angle kind of turn. And when they turn you, there's like an opening there that you can do to reverse. That's usually where they where he caught the guy's leg and like locked them and stuff. So
okay. So there was the next one would be the hawking position.
The hawking. Yeah, there was one that was let's leave hawking for the last because I think that was the one that was the most I've spent the most time in. Okay. But there's the running man, which is like you lay down to your side, you tuck your chin in to a corner, and then you kind of like you're running, but then you're like on the floor, like a running position, but you're on the floor on your side. And again, you're basically split. It's kind of hard to explain, but
now when you do the running man, is your top leg over your hip or is it like on the back?
I think it can be both. I think the top leg is the top leg is backwards. Okay. That's why I need to go back and watch the video again because I get confused between running man and hawking very often. Like I said, I just did a speed watch of the video system. I didn't really extensively study the whole system, which is why I was like, hey, just so to clarify in the beginning of the video, I said like, I was not like super into it. I was just like looking up all the introductory stuff to it.
Yeah. But you've tried this out though. We tried out at judo, we played around with it and you used that BJJ also.
Yes. So let's forget running man. Cause I don't know much about it. Okay. Personally, I just know like, oh, it feels like I should do running man here. And I did it. And then people will flip me over and I swapped to hawking. Now hawking, he's now calling it like the box, shoulder stance or defensive shoulder stance or something, kind of like the Philly shell, you know, like this. But he called it a hawking because it's like, it's like Stephen Hawking, which is kind of messed up. And
but also, if you say that, but here's the thing, it is kind of messed up, but it's also maybe giving homage to Stephen Hawking. Because if you visualize Stephen Hawking, you're going to think of the whole thing where his head's down, tilted over.
I won't lie. It's not just the head though. It's also the hands like this. So it's like, I visualize Stephen Hawking with my neck like this, the hands like that. And he's also saying, just like him, this position's a genius position is what he said.
Okay. So all right. I like that. It's a genius.
So I'm not going to go too much detail into it because it's like I said, the video explaining it was 2 hours long, and I think he can explain it way better than I can. So I highly recommend people watch it if they're interested in it. But yeah, as I was saying, I watched the video. A lot of stuff he said made total sense, and he was demonstrating how a lot of chokes don't work in that angle. And the key thing he said was, like I said, don't give up the underhooks. Never ever give up the underhooks. And he's saying that wrestlers have been doing this for thousands of years, like since like ancient times. Like he learned it from wrestlers, and he emphasizes on testing every single thing he does. Like I think the Running Man was like a 2.0 version, or Hawking was a 2.0 version, because the initial version has the leg up for a better base. But he realized that people were using it as a lever to turn him over. So he was like, okay, I changed it. So now it's like flat instead of up. So he's consistently improving this. He recently announced that he would pay for your tournament fees if you study his programs to go test it out. So he used you as like a sample group, like
a guinea pig,
basically. So he wants to collect more data and continuously improve the system. But like he said, a lot of this stuff is nothing new. It's just people have been doing it all this time, especially wrestlers, and he's just trying to systemize it.
Well, it's just things like nothing, like the old saying is that nothing's new. It's like something old is new again, because there's things from other styles of grappling, from judo, sambo, wrestling, freestyle or folk style, or Greco, or old catch wrestling moves that have been around forever, but because they're not super popular, or because people only think that BJJ is the one and only true grappling system. If it's not BJJ, it's not real grappling. Then if someone will see something, bring it over, and be like, oh my God, this is an amazing thing. Like, I'll always bring this up because people bring it up all the time now. It's like the twister was not this amazing brand new thing when I saw it first in UFC. Eddie Bravo did not invent the twister. I learned the twister when I was in middle school wrestling. It was called a barbed wire pin or a row stem pin. I learned it in wrestling. And again, when I was in United Catch for a while, they also did it. But because Eddie Bravo, BJJ made it
popularized it,
everyone's like, oh, it's a twister. It's like, I don't want to get an argument. It's like, it is not. It is the twister, because that's what he calls it. That's what he calls the system. But it's not this brand new, amazing thing he invented. I remember there was an argument a long, long time ago that, as I said, sound like I hate on BJJ now, but I'm not, where BJJ was trying to say that they invented the Sankaku.
Yeah, they're backtracking. It was one of the Gracies. I don't know who.
Yeah, was trying to say that Sankaku was triangle choke, that he invented the triangle choke. When there's historical, like besides it just being in judo, there's historical evidence of it being done during samurai era, like way
same thing with the De La Riva guard. Like a lot of the new guards that you see people do now, like it's been done before. Like
it's just though someone will pick up a book, a really rare old book, like, oh, what's that? I'm gonna name it this instead and take it. So it's just opening your eyes up to different grappling styles and systems and bring them together. So that's what I like about this thing with this defensive BJJ, because he's not saying, oh, I created this. It's like, no, this is the thing from wrestling that I'm adapting now to BJJ.
So it's not just the system itself. He's also like kind of criticizing how BJJ is taught in many places right now, and how it's not scientific at all. And there's better ways of teaching. So the videos that he talks about how there should be better ways of teaching. And again, I'm not going to get into it, but I got a lot of that stuff, a lot more stuff other than defensive BJJ system out of it. So after I watched that video, I decided to go try it out at my dojo. And before I go into that experience, I'm sure everyone who does BJJ have, especially if you watch John Danaher or if you watched Grappler's Guide or some of the other like beginner oriented videos, they tell beginners to focus on defense first. Keep your guard. Like don't think about submission, position before submission. Always think about defense, keeping your guard. Don't let people pass. Focus on escapes. And then you think about submissions. So everyone's heard of that, right? But here's Prit saying like, okay, this is telling beginner. I'm not telling you that you should revolve your game around turtling the whole time, but this is like how beginners are able to learn defensively. Because when you go to a typical BJJ class, it's like, okay, the move of the day, we're going to learn how to pass this guard and do an arm bar, right? How often do they teach you how to turtle or how to like? Without going too much detail, he talks about how they teach you escapes are also not realistic Again, for more details, just watch his videos. But yeah, so this whole defensive BJJ thing is about teaching beginners how to do that defense first thing, but not defense only, which makes total sense to me, because you're telling beginners you need to focus on defense, but then the stuff you're teaching is not very defensive. So
no, I totally get it, because we had a situation with one of our guys that, and I'll always go back, like if we mess up or we feel like I felt like I did it, like I screwed up or didn't teach someone something correctly, I'll call myself out and be like, okay, I didn't teach them this. I need to teach them this more. One of our yellow belts, I don't even know if he was a yellow belt at that time. I think he was still a white belt, but he was a wrestler and was getting stuff good, getting stuff like getting just natural, just from a wrestling background, went to a judo tournament and he did really well, but then he got choked out. Well, it's because he's a white belt, or was he a yellow belt at that time already, Anthony?
No, he's a white belt.
Yeah, he was still a white belt. He didn't really learn about chokes. I didn't teach him chokes that much because I don't go through chokes that much until you get to orange belt. You learn some at yellow belt, but I don't really go deep into until you're yellow belt, until you're yellow belt, orange belt, how to block, how to go into stuff. If someone does that, to study defensive against it. And he didn't know what he was doing, went to a match and got choked out. He didn't get choked. Did he get choked out? Did he go to sleep?
He tapped. He tapped.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He tapped. So it's like one thing that
it's funny because he's actually better than the other guy.
Yeah. You keep on saying that. He's so much better than that guy.
No, but he's better than that other guy, but the other guy knew how to choke him on the ground. So he choked him out. And the match that he won, he was not better than the other guy, but the other guy head dove. So it was a weird chain of events, but yeah.
It's like one of those things that, you always, when you first teach people, you kind of just teach them attack. You don't teach them a whole lot of defense or chain or something like that. You teach them, you attack this way, you attack that way, you attack this way. So it kind of reminded me of like, oh yeah, I really need to teach you guys how to defend stuff also. I do go through, but I feel like, it is me personally, I feel like I can always go through it more. It's a little personal thing.
So it was, when I was, after that, I went to test it out in my class. And I think I was doing the whole turret defense only thing. I wasn't trying to keep my guard. I wasn't doing anything. I was just like defense only thing. And I mean, obviously it maybe I don't know how hard the other people were trying, but people that were like usually tapping me up to purple belt level, that used to like destroy me, were not able to even get a submission on me for that one. It was just a 1 day. At that time, it was a 1 day thing. And then the next day, there's a blue belt that usually goes really light on me. He started going really hard, cranking everything, and he wasn't able to get in my chokes either. But he really like started cranking, and I started getting like, I actually lost a bit of skin on my neck because of how hard he was cranking it. But I was not getting tapped, at all. And one of the purple belts came up to me and was like, wow, that's some really good defense there. Like you really improved, like, because he was like, just last week he was tapping me like every other, like easily. And then I tried on some brown belts that I went against and didn't work because they found a way to get the underhook. That's why I'm saying that's the key thing. They got the underhook. And now I'm much more focused on defending the underhooks when I have my back taken, or I'm like in whatever position. I'm a lot more wary about giving up my underhooks now. So again, I tried it out in judo. Like you cranked the crap out of my neck too, and that didn't work. I tried it out on a few people at judo. It didn't work either for them. So then I went to an open mat for one of my friends' BJJ clubs, and I tried it on the purple belts there. Same thing. Like they had trouble tapping me. They were frustrated because I was just defensive the whole time. I was doing the thing that the guy was doing at the tournament. But the one thing that I'm weak at is, like you said, like, oh, if you were turtling, I would have just grabbed your leg and did this. And that was when I told you, well, what they would do there is they would invert and retain their guard. But I'm not very good at inversions. So that was my weakness, is because some of the stuff I'm obviously not good at. So I'm still very new on this system and doing the basics. So there is a limitation, but I totally see why it works. But I still had some reservations because Britt Mickelson, the guy that I'm talking about, he said this also works for MMA. That's what he's saying. He's like, it still works for MMA, works for everything. But I'm like, how is turtling working for MMA? Is my head, right? But I didn't look too much into it. And then
get some soccer kicks to your ribs all day.
After I got a bunch of people laughing at me about sharing this. And then Ryan Hall came out with a video like a month later.
Yeah.
Basically, he didn't call it Defensive BJJ, but he made a video saying like, oh, there's a new way. Let me, I don't.
Well, he was showing the hawking for the most part. Like
he was showing, a much more powerful alternative to hip escapes by Ryan Hall. It was the first video I watched. He's making a series of videos now, and he's probably going to sell it. Mm-hmm. But that was a video where I was, let me watch the Ryan Hall video because I liked Ryan Hall, and I was listening to it. I'm like, wait. Everything he's saying is like exactly what Britt Mickelsen's been saying for the last like 10 years.
Oh, there's more theft in grappling right there. Ryan Hall, I invented this. I created this from scratch.
He didn't say he invented it, but what he did say in the video was like, I learned this from training with wrestlers in MMA, and it works in MMA. And I'm like, okay, I'll take Ryan Hall's word for it. And now I know Britt is also correct because Ryan Hall fought in MMA and he's learning it from wrestlers in MMA. So yeah. And when Ryan Hall made that video, that's when Raul saw that video and made another video about it. So that's the whole story.
And back to the beginning again, but so that's Defensive BJJ. Anthony's gone into it. He's tried it out. And all he's done is watch the videos, dissect them, because he's a decent grappler and stuff, really good. He can see what's there, what doesn't work. And we talk also, okay, well, I see this from here. And I see like, okay, so that's kind of a wrestling thing. Now that's how we did it in freestyle. Okay, now this is more like a folk style version of what we're doing. And we worked on it. I would attack him. He would defend himself. And be like, wow, this actually does work.
Even if it doesn't work, it's mostly because I messed up. Because like I said, I just watched I probably watched like 3 or 4 hours worth of videos on this topic. And I watched that 3 or 4 hour videos and I was able to make myself a lot more difficult to get submitted. I think that's worth it. Right.
Yes.
So imagine if you actually train the details and fix the mistakes, like giving up the underhooks, learning how to invert to retain your guard, or like fixing the small little gaps that allowed the brown belt that I mentioned to get my underhooks and stuff like that. I think it'll be really powerful. But I did realize I need to stop just turtling the whole time because I need to focus on other aspects of my ground game too. So I'm now starting to try and incorporate that into the rest of my game versus just testing it out phase where I was just like defensive
the entire time. Now you were talking about like when I was do leg locks to you, or I would just put my knee on your back of your Achilles tendon. You're like, oh, well, they would invert from right here. Have you tried inverting now at BJJ? Since that's more allowed at BJJ than it is at Judo.
I have trouble inverting even during
because you're too big.
Drills.
It's because you're too long.
Yes, it's because I'm big. I also had damaged my shoulder before when I was a white belt, so it's kind of tight and comfortable for me to invert. But I'm practicing it. Like inversion is frustrating. Like when people do it to me, it's frustrating. It's like, oh, I passed his guard, and he just like rolls on his shoulder and his back. You're back in his guard again, open guard. So, yeah, I definitely I had a couple of successes inverting, but because I'm not very good at it, it's not very consistent. The success. Yeah, but that's one of the things that I tried when people try to grab my legs, and I think I tried it like 50 times, and I only got it like twice where it worked. So
only once.
Because mostly, again, it was me who messed up. So I just watched like a 3-hour video on it. And again, like I just binge watched most of his video. He has a lot of good content. So yeah, a lot of things about angles and mostly focusing on underhooks. He has a subscription model site that goes into more detail about how to train this. I was tempted to try it out, but I don't want to pay for it yet because I don't have the time to actually test it out. Because I need a partner to drill this.
Yeah, it would be like you tell your wife, all right, come here, attack me. She hits you with a frying pan. I attack.
Yeah, I need a partner to drill this, so I have to actually find time to do this before or after class or on the weekends or something like that. So. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. And more and more, I think more and more people are starting to see this, the value in it. And like I said, it's not new. Like he's been saying this for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people give him shit for it, basically. For like,
that's how it is. Yeah. You try something new, people don't like it. That's just how it always is when you try things.
Well, people are always like pulling has he won any like world championships or ADCC or anything like that? I'm like, you can't use that as a metric, you know, like those, we were just talking about it last, was it last episode or episode before?
Like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. Where we're saying like, I don't see any jiu-jitsu. I just see a lot of strong guys like blasting each other, you know, like, which is exaggeration. Obviously there's jiu-jitsu there, but a lot of physical attributes too involved in it. And just because someone's not world championship doesn't mean the system they're developing is wrong.
Everyone has a beginning, and this is the beginning of this new system right here. Okay.
Maybe it doesn't work at the top levels just because of the meta or whatever. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it's a terrific system for teaching beginners how to be defensive and up to like a certain belt level or a certain experience level. I mean, if you look at judo, like we talk about it all the time, like think about Hifumi Abe, the way he does a Hiseo Nage. It's like, no one's going to be able to do that. Like you hurt yourself trying to do that. Yeah. Or certain things where you have to be super strong to be able to do it. It's just like, you can't copy it. So who knows? Maybe it's something like that. And Britt Mickelson like admits it. He says like, we don't know. The answer is we don't know. That's why I want to find out. So
that's cool. So that's Defensive BJJ. If you're interested in it, Anthony's going to put a link to it in the bottom of the podcast. So you can look up Defensive BJJ and just look up online and maybe let us know what you think about it. Maybe you tried it out. Maybe you looked at the video before and you thought it was not going to work, or you tried at your own dojo and it just didn't work for you. The hawking wasn't working. Panda wasn't working, but I think it's an adorable name, Panda, or just straight turtle, you know? So, and this goes to our next topic that we're going to go into next. And this is where, Anthony would just brought us up like he wants to give some of his recommendations for YouTube channels.
I was wondering what YouTube channels you watch because I watch a lot of YouTube, but I do have some favorites. I'll just like off the top of my head, there's 2 relatively new ones that I like. One of them is Yokohama Judo Yokohama. Again, we'll put it in the description. Someone on Reddit asked recently, like, hey, like I'm a BJJ guy transitioning to judo. Like, is there any content out there that's like close to what do you call it? John Danaher. So for those who aren't familiar, John Danaher has this like he's really well spoken, and he breaks down things into a very scientific level and structural level, and it's easier to digest, even though to some people it might be like way too long of an explanation. But to me, who learns well off of that kind of explanation, I really enjoy how he breaks down techniques like that. Because otherwise, most people are like, yeah, you put your foot here, then you turn here, then you do this, right? Like,
and it just works that way. What do you mean it doesn't work that way?
So he was asking for something like that. And a lot of people were recommending some big YouTube channels out there that for judo. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really think most of them they're good channels. Don't get me wrong, they're good judo channels, but I wouldn't call them like John Danaher. It would be like what do you call Kurt Osiander? Like, I don't know if people are familiar with him in BJJ, but he's like this BJJ guy who does a move of the week kind of videos for a while. And he just like, bam, here's the move of the week. This is how you do it. You put your hand here, there, pass this guard and do this. It's like, see you next week, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. See you next week. It's good. So, here, let's go.
So they explain stuff, but not to that, like, I don't know how to word for it, but yeah, it's not to the same level as John Danaher. So I did find a video, a YouTube channel recently, and it's Judo Yokohama, and people have been posting on Reddit, but I found it somewhere else, like, because I used to just post like judo phrases into the Japanese version of YouTube and find new videos. And that's how I found it. And the guy there breaks things down really well. Like everything, like, you know how some American senseis say when you do uchikomis, they don't like it when people swing the leg back. Yeah. And for me, some people are like, well, I'm not going to do something just because someone's done it that way the whole time. Like, because because the Japanese do it. Like, why would you do it that way? Right. So this guy actually explains it, why you do it that way. I won't get into
why you don't swing the leg back, or why the Japanese do that. Okay.
Why the Japanese swing the leg back before they enter into the uchikomis, versus like a lot of American consensus says you're not going to do that in a tournament because you're going to telegraph your movement, your throw. So don't do that. Start at a square position and step in from there. Don't swing your leg back. But this guy, he has a video basically explaining why to do it and the drills for it. He even talks about grip fighting. He talks about the pendulum step, talks about uchikomi bands, talks about combinations and how it works and timing, like hands, like I can go on and on. There's a lot of great content on that channel. Highly recommend people watch it if they like John Danaher type of content. Another one I like, which isn't so much John Danaher, but another great explanation for competition type technique levels is Fluid Judo. A lot of people already know them because they had a great like Uchimata video. I think they have one of the best Uchimata videos out there on how to do Uchimata. And one other one that I recently discovered that I really like, I just found it like a month ago. It's called Nonstop Newaza. I shared it with you.
Yeah, you showed that to me one.
Yeah. The guy there, I don't know his name, but it's in English, not Japanese like the other two, which one of them was they have a translator dubbing it. But he goes over a lot of breakdowns of Newaza techniques and also breakdowns of like rules, like how they're called and like wrong calls or like controversial calls, controversial rules, why this throw was called this way, why this wasn't called. They have a Kimura trap basically of Uta Abe, like breakdown of that. Just a lot of great content there. And I don't see a lot of, he has a pretty significant amount of views, but not as much as like some of the bigger YouTube channels. So actually, I think someone posted his stuff the other day. So now I'm looking at it and just
now he's getting a lot more views.
He's got a lot more views now.
Good for them.
Yeah. So really highly recommend that channel. Like it's Nonstop Newaza. I sent you a video of him breaking down the super inconsistent calls that we talked about in the Tokyo Olympics. So what about you? What YouTube channel do you like?
Well, it's funny because I actually, other than watching, so there's one, if it's talking about judo channel I watch, the one that I consistently watch is, and I write them down because I couldn't remember the name of it. And it was stupid because it's the easiest freaking name to remember. So I do watch Judo Highlights, and that's just a channel that has a lot of judo highlight videos from recent tournaments and stuff, big events. So I watch them to see the matches sometimes. If I don't want to watch just the gold medal matches or I just want to watch Ippons and just the big stuff, I'll watch them. But if I want to watch something like I have a question and I want a source that I know is going to be legit and it's going to have a pretty much correct answer, I'll go to Neil Adams' YouTube page, which is Neil Adams. I wrote it down. It was NA Effective Fighting. That's Neil Adams' YouTube channel. And I want something where I can trust what they're going to say. I usually go to his channel, which probably a lot of people go to his channel, I bet. So
I haven't watched this stuff in a while. So
yeah, I usually use it as like big reference channel mostly.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm doing the technique correctly, or I'm questioning about something and I can't talk to Sensei Philippe, or I have something somebody just digs at you, just start thinking about something. Yeah. I'll look at his channel other than looking at like 10,000 other video channels. And so I watch Neil Adams mostly for stand-up stuff. One channel that I love watching, I always talk about, it's not a channel. He actually doesn't have a channel. It's just people post his stuff up. It's Kashiwazaki.
Yep.
He's one of the best Newaza judo ever. Yep. I have like
all the stuff he does is still relevant today.
Yeah, it still works. And I have like 3 of his videos downloaded that I got, and they're usually on my Kindle and I watch my work sometimes. But even on YouTube, like I'll just watch his videos and certain things and be like there are certain things that he does that I love, like how to escape from the leg certain ways, how to flip somebody over, combinations of taking people down into Newaza. So if you want to look at some good judo Newaza that's still effective today, Kashiwazaki has some of the best judo Newaza out there, but he doesn't have a page. He doesn't have a website or nothing. Maybe he does have a website, but I've never seen a website. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but people post his videos and post his seminar stuff online all the time. Yeah. Those are my judo ones I look at, but because I'm not being like all cocky, like, oh, but I know all of judo and stuff. So I tend to not watch too many judo videos for technique unless it's for reinforcement or relearning or brush up. And like I said, I watch Kashiwazaki or Neil Adams. What I do watch a lot though is for catch wrestling kind of stuff nowadays. It's like, I can't go to catch. So I'll go to Sakuraba's channel to see cool catch wrestling stuff. I'll go to my buddy Raul's channel, Catch Wrestling Alliance. But those are two channels that I go to mostly for techniques. What I watch most of the time, though, is kind of like history channels, judo grappling history channels. So like there's this one guy. It's a really simple channel.
You're getting old. That's a sign that you're
I know.
Get old.
I know. I'm getting old. I forget this stuff. I got to get reinforced. I'm damn near 40. Actually, by the time this video goes out, I will be 40. Actually, by the time this video will be published. The channel called, I think his name Shadi. That's his name of the channel. It's just a judo hit. Have you heard of it? You've seen this stuff before?
Yeah.
I know. But it's cool, you know, and you can always look up what you think is fake and stuff. But I like his channel. I think it's very interesting.
He definitely does a good job presenting the stuff, even though some of it I don't think is accurate.
Yeah, but he explains it and tells where he comes from, where he gets the lineage, or where he comes from things. So because
some of the sources he looked up is controversial. That's why.
Yeah. That's why. No, that's what I'm saying. I get it. You can look it up for yourself and stuff. But I like how he's putting judo history out there. That's my thing. Another one that's kind of controversial also, and this just, I guess Juan just loves controversy. It's a catch wrestling channel, but it also does a lot of sambo, judo, wrestling on there. It's Didos. I think I've sent it to you.
Yeah. That's the one where they exposed I won't say exposed, but they did one about the Gracies. Yeah.
They talk about the stuff that people don't want to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
And this kind of stuff where if you live in Brazil, you know about the stuff. It's not that secret, but it's not known outside of Brazil. So it's kind of exposing to British people, because the guy that does Didos, he's from Britain and stuff, British catch wrestler. And I think he is also a BJJ guy as well, but he mostly focuses on catch wrestling. So it's like, Juan's an old man. Juan's becoming an old guy. He will be, I can't say damn near 40 anymore. I can't say that. I will be 40 by the time this video comes out. Oh my God. But those I watch for history mostly. But if I'm looking for something where I want to brush up on a technique, I look at Neil Adams. I'll look up for a Kashiwazaki video and stuff like that. If I want to see highlights, I'm looking for judo highlights. If not, just go direct to the source and go to the IGF page.
Yeah. So just like you, I don't like watching technique videos so much anymore. Like when I was a white belt, I liked it. But then over time, I realized like, this is stuff I learned at my dojo. Like, why am I watching stuff that I learned from people at the dojo? And they're pretty much the same stuff. And especially a lot of those DVDs that people sell. I mean, if you're in like a middle of nowhere dojo being taught by a brown belt or something, like some university clubs or something, I can see the value in that. Or you're just trying to start your own club and you're really good with a couple techniques, but you're terrible at Newaza or terrible at Tayatoshi or something, and buying like a DVD to learn that. I understand. But
one more that I forget that I look at now every now and then, American Judo System. I do look at that every now and then, because there are times that they'll talk about a technique or they'll talk about a way of doing it. And I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that style. I haven't done that in years, or I haven't done that style in a year or two.
Yeah. So I say, you're getting old.
I know.
For me, I watch American Judo System mostly for the grip fighting content, because there's not a lot of good grip. There's not a lot of good grip fighting content out there. So, but again, most of the other stuff I see on there, Sensei Philippe teaches it, or we teach it. So it's not rocket science. But
judo isn't hard. It's not rocket science.
It's not. I mean, so that's why a lot of the stuff that I watch have to tend to do with like I said, explaining why certain people doing certain things, or the small details you miss when you're doing certain drills, or at seminars they teach how to coach people. Like that's what I like to watch about Neil Adams, is when I watch him run seminars about coaching and stuff like that, because his technique videos, like I said, like Ushimata, this is how you like. I hate the Neil Adams video where he uses his balance board thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah,
I hate that thing.
And he lifts it up and stuff like, it's so simple. It's so easy. No, it's not, sir. It is easy for you because you're so damn good.
Yeah, it's like, it does not work. Because I watched that video when I was a green belt, and I tried to do Uchimata and it just like messed me up. Like I was like, I wish I never followed that video. I should have just like did my own thing, or like asked someone who's good at Uchimata. Right. So, just some of the stuff is just, it's trial and error, but watch what works for you. I just think I'm at that stage where I like watching stuff explained to me how to coach, how to do drills, more concepts and principles about like movement and kazushi and balance, how to off balance grip fighting. Like I said, I'm terrible at newaza, so newaza stuff, strategies, like stuff like that. Less so about this is how you do this throw, like because the people, I think a lot of people that watch those type of content are those that think you can watch a video of someone doing something like that and you can just do it. Yeah. When in reality, it's like after you watch it, it's doing is giving you an idea of what's possible. And there's no way around how you'd probably have to drill that for like months before you're able to do it. So
well, it's also one of the things where if you watch a video like that, like I said, when I watch Kashiwazaki videos, because I like his stuff so much, I'll watch him do one technique or one series of techniques, not a whole lot. It's like maybe 2 or 3 techniques I'll watch the day. And then I go to the dojo and I will try to work those techniques. Either when I have my own time, be like, hey, let me run this technique with you. Or when I'm doing newaza randori, I'll be like, okay, Juan, this is all you're allowed to do today. You're allowed to do these 3 moves today, and that's it. And if you can't get those moves, then you're screwed. You're on your back all day or something, or you're in guard all day.
Yeah. Also, sometimes people like beginners will ask me a question that I honestly don't know the answer to. And I'll just tell them that I don't know. Like, and then I would have to look up the answer.
Let's go to the video.
Yeah, but I would come across the video. And like, oh, so that's why like they do it that way, or that's the answer to that question. So, that's why when I was training Wing Chun, my Sifu was like saying how after in Chinese martial arts, after you get to a certain point, your master basically tells you like you have to go start taking students. There's nothing else I can teach you, and it's because you have. Then he's like, oh, I don't want to teach. I just want to keep learning from you. I don't want to teach. Right? It's annoying to have to teach, but he's like, you can't get better unless you teach, because teaching forces you to people to ask questions and criticize what you're teaching.
Yeah.
So
to me, I think of it as like with that, I totally understand it because it gets to me, it's like you dissect a technique a certain way when you're learning it and then you're trying to perfect it. But then when you teach it somebody, you have to dissect it a different way to teach somebody.
Yeah, especially in judo, right? Because it's like, okay, I never ran into this problem because I'm tall, right? So what happens if someone's small? Like then now you got to come up with an answer for that.
What if someone like I can do cross step, no problem. When I got to teach somebody how not to do the cross step, oh my God, how do I do this throw technique again? You'll let him save me. Let me see. All right.
So it forces you to understand a technique at a more expert level in different ways, right? Because it's just funny how it comes back around, right? So you learn the basics and then you start adapting the basics to your body, right? Yeah, and mastering that throw, and when you start teaching, you got to go back to the basics. Yeah, you got to go back to more advanced, the basics at a more advanced level.
A1 basic again. All right. So, is there any other channels you want to plug out there that can get some likes from us?
No, you even plug the ones that I don't like. So
I know. So I told you you're not gonna like what I tell you. Yeah. And to me, I like them because they're fun. All right. They talk about certain judo things. Oh.
Yeah, the All Japan Judo channel. They have a lot of interesting stuff recently. Yeah, so they had the Kodomo no Kata, the children's kata, uploaded recently. They also during pandemic uploaded. I'm thinking the Kodokan YouTube channel. Anyway, no, the All Japan one. They upload a lot of matches now from the Japanese tournaments. Which in the past they would either not upload them, or they would only upload up to a certain point and then not the finals. Or they would upload them and then remove it after like a week. So now they're leaving it up. So I get to watch a lot of cool Japanese matches on it. So that's another channel I recommend.
There's no people who watch out there.
But their YouTube channel is like in kanji. So a lot of people don't know how to find it. So I'll link it in the description too.
All right. So that'll be in description down below as well. Great. All right, Anthony, is there anything else you want to talk about today?
No, I'm starting to lose my voice from talking about turtling and talking.
And the panda.
Yeah, he has a new position actually called the baby bridge. Well, relatively new.
Wasn't it like a dragon also?
I don't know. I think he's like developing new stuff pretty frequently. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm really curious about what he turns this into, and I do want to train with him eventually. So
might be a fun, cool trip if he doesn't come to Los Angeles. Maybe you'll be going over to Estonia.
Yeah,
Estonia.
or I can meet him up at one of the Globetrotter camps.
Oh, why not? All right. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at _Juan. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. You can follow the channel itself on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can send us any messages, questions, videos you want us to look at tatamitalk@gmail.com. Please remember to like us on Tatami Talk at YouTube. Is there anything else?
No. I'm thinking of uploading the kata we demonstrated at the holiday party.
That you did?
On our YouTube channel. So
all right, be cool.
With caveat that the stage is really small and I'm really big, so we had to do some modifications. So
the person that was throwing you was smaller than you too.
Yeah. So we had to do some modifications. But yeah.
All right. So with that, Anthony, don't forget to
slap the mat.
All right.
All right.